KOF 15 made its debut with an impressive roster of 13 teams, later supplemented by 4 more through DLC releases. However, it's undeniable that certain teams have managed to shine brighter than the rest. This video endeavors to rank all 17 canonical teams from least to best, delving into a range of critical aspects. My evaluation encompasses elements like originality, team composition, and the synergy among its members. I also considered the sheer enjoyment factor of playing as these teams, alongside their narrative arcs, climactic endings, iconic themes, and the distinctiveness of their stages. It's important to note that only officially recognized canonical teams are being reviewed, otherwise the video would be too long, and the team composition in these alternative secret teams don't make sense in a lot of cases. You can't convince me that Leona has a side job as a mentor helping Yori and Shune with their enraged states. Without further ado, here's the ranking of KOF 15's official teams from worst to best. It might not be a shock if you've been a follower of this channel for a while, but I've got a bone to pick when it comes to characters from weapon-based fighting games infiltrating non-weapon-based titles. Case in point, the Samurai team's entry into KOF 15. Something just feels off about their integration into the roster. They stand out like a sore thumb amidst the diverse assembly of fighters. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of Samurai Showdown and its captivating character lineup. Each one boasts a unique charisma and an unforgettable presence. However, that doesn't guarantee their seamless transition into KOF, or any other title for that matter. The Samurai Showdown series exudes a darker, more somber tone, a far cry from the spirited atmosphere of KOF. While it might not reach the visceral brutality of Mortal Kombat, for example, it's undeniably intense and gory. This gritty ambience just doesn't align with the vibe of KOF. Adding insult to injury, the Samurai team members appear comparatively lackluster when pitted against their KOF 15 counterparts. Take Haomaru for example, a brownie powerhouse armed with a razor-sharp katana, being bested by a petite unarmed fighter. It's a dissonance that is hard to ignore. It just makes him look weak. Furthermore, their online presence isn't exactly stellar. Though Nakoruru still makes sporadic appearances, her comrades seem to have faded into obscurity. And then there is the questionable choice of Darlie as the third team member. She lacks the legacy status and recognition that the other characters possess. It's perplexing why they didn't opt for a more beloved and renowned addition. All in all, my affection for Samurai Showdown remains unshaken, but the inclusion of Team Samurai in KOF 15 has left much to be desired. Oh, I forgot their ending. They ruined Mizuki. Announced just before Team Samurai, the KOF scene was surprised with the unveiling of Team Awakened Orochi. Now I'll admit, I was one of those cheering for the return of Yashiro and his crew to the tournament, but the execution of their inclusion didn't quite hit the mark. Team Awakened Orochi represents the alternate form that Yashiro and his comrades adopt, and to put it mildly, their incorporation feels far from ideal. Departing from their regular movesets, practically everything about them changes, from their fighting style to their archetypes. It's almost like the awakened version should be seen as an entirely distinct team altogether, and that wouldn't be far off. However, what's important to note is that this secondary form has been an intrinsic part of their characters from the very beginning, a detail I can't emphasize enough. Yet, KOF 15 demands payment to access this alternative team, just like with any other original DLC team. This decision doesn't sit right, considering that the awakened form has historically been an inherent facet of their team's identity. Across most games they've appeared in, simply holding the start button was sufficient to select their awakened state. It's no wonder that many players consider this team as a questionable allocation of roster space. On a more positive note, KOF 15 offers a unique opportunity to have two versions of the same character within a single team, a novel concept that was previously implausible. It's pretty cool, I must admit. Furthermore, the gameplay of Team Awakened Orochi is undeniably impressive, particularly Orochi Ashero. He's never been this enjoyable to command, emerging as an intimidating and destructive grappler. Their ending, albeit non-canon, deserves a mention. It's more of a whimsical what-if scenario, yet it indirectly sheds light on the true power of the game's central antagonist, Otomaraga. The epilogue even managed to elicit a chuckle from me. Despite K-Dash and his team's story finding closure with the Nest saga, they've managed to carve out a permanent spot in every subsequent installment of the series. K-Dash himself has garnered such immense popularity that it's only natural for him to maintain his presence. After all, having him in every game doesn't inherently raise any issues. The real challenge lies in the fact that there is often a lack of substantial purpose for his appearances. Even when a reason does arise, like his quest to locate Kula in KOF 15, it comes across as contrived, an afterthought hastily added. The situation becomes more perplexing when considering that K-Dash has an aversion to KOF, an integral facet of his character. This makes his mere presence a bit of a stretch, unless there is a compelling rationale. Don't misconstrue my point. I'm not advocating for K-Dash and his team to be left behind. What I'm suggesting is that they deserve narratives that are more gripping, arcs that thrust them into the heart of the action, and character evolution that's both substantial and meaningful. Regrettably, it doesn't help that his two comrades seem to have drawn the short straw in terms of character models. Maxima's appearance has undergone a shift that's left him resembling a gorilla, while Whip now seems eerily lifeless, her eyes devoid of expression. Thankfully, on the gameplay front, they're as dependable as ever. K-Dash in particular remains an unstoppable juggernaut, a force to be reckoned with. Playing as Whip is an exhilarating experience, both for the player and the audience. While I can't speak extensively about Maxima given my limited exposure to him, dedicated enthusiasts assure me that he stands strong and offers a captivating gameplay experience. In essence, while K-Dash and his team undeniably bring value to the KOF universe, their continued inclusion should be backed by narratives that do justice to their legacy, elevating their roles beyond mere appearances for appearances' sake. What has been observed about K-Dash's team holds even truer for the Fatal Fury team. Their main story arc essentially concluded before it even took off, given their origins in another series. Terry in particular struggles to find a genuine purpose for his recurring appearances in the KOF universe, and this lack of purpose is even more pronounced for his two teammates. Adding to the predicament is the team's lackluster composition. SNK initially teased us by placing Iori alongside Joe, creating an illusion of a shared team dynamic. While this eventual team composition might not have been a guaranteed success, it would have at least introduced some intrigue. Alas, the triumvirate of Terry, Andy and Joe has aged and lost its originality. There was a glimmer of hope in KOF 11 when they resurrected the team, substituting Andy and Joe with Kim and Duck. However, disappointingly, they reverted to the old formula thereafter and have clung to it, as if altering the team would bring forth calamity. My qualms aren't against any of them individually, but rather the repetitiveness of their appearances with minimal growth in terms of story or character development. At least their team's ending offers a touch of amusement, surpassing the level of humor found in K-Dash's conclusion. As far as gameplay is concerned, they're all robust contenders. During the game's launch, Terry was particularly fearsome, bordering on the edge of being broken. My only wish is that his storyline and character development receive treatment that befits his profound legacy in KOF. While Terry and his team have undoubtedly cemented their place in the series, their narrative presence should reflect the weight of their history and significance. As uncanny as it may seem, the sentiment expressed regarding K-Dash and the Fatal Fury squad rings even truer for the Art of Fighting team. Wait, am I experiencing a déjà vu? That phrase sounds awfully familiar, and I suppose I did utter it in the previous entry. But don't blame me, I'm not the one responsible for the repetitive inclusion of teams with barely any composition alterations or narrative evolution. Okay, that might be a bit harsh. I have to give a nod to KOF 15's rendition of the Art of Fighting team. This time around, the team lineup does have a slight twist, with Yuri making way for King. It's not the first instance of King joining forces with Ryo in the Art of Fighting team. She is an Art of Fighting character at heart after all. But hey, any glimmer of originality is more than welcome in my book. Another aspect that caught my attention is the team stage. The PAOPAO CAFÉ provides a visually stunning backdrop, even it's now shared with the Southtown team. And let's not forget their theme. It's got quite the catchy beat. In terms of strength, all three members hold their own. Ryo's blows hit with the force of a freight train, making him one of the most damaging characters in the game. Robert remains versatile and enjoyable to wield as ever, while King, my personal main, stands as my cherished zoner. Moreover, their ending trumps that of the Fatal Fury team in terms of intrigue, with the rectification of Kushnud's name, finally adopting his true name Marco Rodriguez, and the subtle hint at the return of Mr. Karate 2, Ryo's alternate persona. It offers a touch of narrative substance that's been somewhat lacking in previous iterations. In a recurring pattern of unoriginal team compositions, the Ikari team claims its spot once more in the series. Ralph and Clark, two of the franchise's most beloved characters, have secured their positions for all the right reasons. They're the inseparable comrades, the brothers in arms who are undeniably tied to the fabric of KOF. It's hard to imagine a KOF installment without these two stalwarts in the mix. Moreover, Leona adds another layer of the team's allure. Her significance within the overarching narrative, particularly the Arashi story arc, cements her as one of the most pivotal female characters, at least in that context. The truth is, it's difficult to envision a different team composition for the Ikari squad. While they have experimented by replacing Leona with figures like Whip or Hydran in past iterations, it's hard to complain about the team's lack of originality. There is a certain inevitability to their lineup, shaped by the roles these characters have come to inhabit. Add to that, their stage design is nothing short of ingenious. A metal slug themes battleground in the heart of the desert, an unequivocal yes from me. While their new theme is undoubtedly catchy, I can't help but acknowledge that it doesn't quite match up to the standard set by their KOF 14's version. Shifting the focus to gameplay, Ralph bursts onto the scene as a top-tier character upon launch, though he's seen his fair share of nerfs since then. Nevertheless, he remains robust and resilient. Speaking personally, Clark is the standout star of the team, a dependable and fearsome grappler. Leona, while not as frequently picked as her two comrades, stands her ground. Her intricate gameplay may account for her relatively lower selection rate. She's not a weak contender by any means, but her complexity demands a particular skill level. The icing on the cake is their ending, which sends the team on a mission to verify the resurrection of Leona's father. This touch of narrative development is precisely what we yearn for in characters less tethered to the main plot. All in all, the Ikari team may embrace a somewhat predictable composition, but their unique characteristics, gameplay prowess, and narrative potential make them an indispensable presence in KOF. The hero team in KOF 15 takes an unconventional approach by transforming into a revamped version of the China team from KOF 14. The switch of Tank Furu with Benimaru was a wise decision, primarily because, let's face it, Benimaru is the standout star of this team. Shunei, the central protagonist of this saga, falls flat in terms of character engagement, and his design leaves much to be desired, as we've already discussed many times before. Mei Tenkun manages to be even more forgettable, with his only notable trait being his penchant for dozing off during combat. So as previously mentioned, Benimaru emerged as the genuine savior of this team, rescuing it from obscurity in many ways. Where gameplay is concerned, the trio beautifully complements each other. Shunei assumes the role of the aggressive rushdown archetype, boasting remarkable aerial mobility. Mei Tenkun, in contrast, embodies the role of a super vexing zoner/charge character. Meanwhile, Benimaru adopts the all-rounder approach, a versatile force to be reckoned with. Staying true to form, he aligns himself with the canonically victorious KOF champion, further enriching his legacy as a multi-time KOF title holder. Their stage design is an absolute masterpiece, and I'd even venture to label it the most stunning stage within the entire game. Their theme resonates as bombastic and dynamic, aligning seamlessly with the personalities of the team members. all except Meitenkun, who would likely fit better with a lullaby. In essence, while the hero team might have gone through an unexpected transformation, their revamped structure manages to infuse the fresh spark into their dynamic. Benimaru, even though he's not the main hero of the team, contributes the charisma and flair needed to elevate the team's overall appeal. Sometimes, all it takes to weave a spell of enchantment is to exchange a staple member of a team with another pillar from a different squad. Such was the magic that transpired with the super heroines team. The decision to swap King with Athena yielded an unexpectedly delightful synergy that resonates with fans instantly. It's remarkable how the inclusion of Athena alongside Mai and Yuri has birthed a charismatic, endearing, and unforgettable dynamic. Under the banner of the super heroine team, Athena, Mai and Yuri meld so seamlessly that it feels like they've been a united front forever. The undeniable chemistry between these two strong women exudes an aura that is hard to resist. Their stage design is warm and vibrant, immersing players in a whirlwind of colors that perfectly complements their collective energy. And then there is their theme, Like a Queen, that's both catchy and cheerfully uplifting. Their ending seals the deal, offering a humorous glimpse into Athena's hidden facet, revealing a side of her previously unexplored. The superheroine team isn't just a fleeting spark of brilliance, it's a constellation of elements that has woven itself into the fabric of KOF's charm. This team composition possesses a quality that beckons for its return in future iterations, and this charisma, camaraderie, and magnetic allure are an asset that the series would be wrong to overlook. Anticipation soared as the KOF community eagerly awaited the return of Ash, only for his comeback to fall short of expectations. Despite the buzz surrounding his comeback, he surfaced with a lackluster impact on the story, a mere shadow of the presence he once commanded. Even his interactions, once captivating, now failed to captivate. His erasure from memory has rendered him inconsequential, even to those who were once directly impacted by his actions. Iori's fury at Ash's prior transgressions would have surely ignited a fiery showdown, but he just doesn't remember him. And the same thing goes for Shizuru, casting Ash into a realm of fanservice rather than significance. Curiously, despite the team bearing his name, Ash doesn't command its focal point. The true catalyst of the team's actions is Kukri, a figure with genuine purpose in the KOF landscape. Ash and Elizabeth lend their aid to Kukri, a quid pro quo for the support during KOF 14. Yet SNK likely refrained from dubbing the team Team Kukri, as his popularity doesn't rival that of Ash. Setting aside the narrative shortcomings, the trio shines in the realm of gameplay. Ash's mastery of zoning makes him formidable. I might be wrong, but he is the one character capable of executing a 100% damage combo with sufficient meter. Elizabeth, though toned down, still retains her strength, while Kukri, even if he's the least favored of the trio, has the potential to metamorphose into a formidable adversary, a truth I've witnessed firsthand in online matches. Their stage design is nothing short of breathtaking, an artful masterpiece that captures attention. Their ending successfully concludes Kukri's narrative arc in a gratifying manner, punctuated by a cameo appearance from Dulon and Chen. In essence, Team Ash carries a semblance of excellence, even if its name doesn't make much sense. GAW, short for Galaxy Anton Wrestling, represents the fresh team spearheaded by none other than Antonov, the erstwhile KOF host, on a quest to reassert his supremacy as the ultimate king of fighters, at least according to his own claim. The journey hasn't been without its share for trials for this colossal yet kind-hearted mountain of a man. In brief, his status underwent a downturn between KOF 14 and 15, compelling him to seize his spot anew as a regular contender in the latest iteration. Witnessing Antonov captaining his own team is a welcome sight indeed. His teammates, Ramon and King of Dinosaurs, Tizok's alternative persona, both wrestle with the same passion as Antonov, positioning themselves as reliable allies. It's important to note though that while Ramon and King of Dinosaurs are wrestlers, Antonov himself doesn't fit the mold. Instead, he harnesses the sheer power of his deadly punches and kicks, proving that he requires no elaborate techniques to leave an impact. A distinctive characteristic of this team is its lively and jovial disposition, akin to a comic relief amidst the fierce competitors. Their personalities lend a dash of humor to the mix. Although each member commands considerable prowess in battle, their stage, one of the first, if not the first to be unveiled in the game trailers, epitomizes the very essence of the King of Fighters tournament. It's an arena that encapsulates the tournament spirit and energy, setting the perfect backdrop for their clashes. As for their ending, it stands as one of the funniest within the game. It showcases Antonov daydreaming about the team's future, a delightful note of levity to conclude their storyline. Prior to his announcement, Cronin, formerly known as K49, seemed the unlikeliest candidate for a series comeback. The shockwaves his reveal sent through the fanbase were palpable, a surge of astonishment, and questionably positive. Despite his brief appearance in the series, K49 had amassed a considerable fan following, making his revival as Cronin a warmly embraced decision. Yet, there is a glaring issue with his team that warrants honesty. Cronin's team composition appears to follow a trajectory of illogic. While it's reasonable for him to align with Angel, his longtime partner, the inclusion of Kula raises more than a few eyebrows. The prologue of their team suggests Kula's abduction by the duo and her escape from K-Dash's team after a trivial argument. It's a flimsy premise at best. To say that there is no one Kula detests more than Cronin and Angel is an understatement, rendering the storyline a portrayal of her as a spoiled brat rather than a character with depth. Her interactions with her teammates do little to convey a sense of abduction. Kula's presence on this team defies sensible reasoning. It appears that SNK's aim was to convene former NES agents, though the effort to justify their alliance feels half-hearted. Switching focus to gameplay, Cronin is the strongest character in the game, period, even after enduring nerfs. Angel is the hardest character to play in the game, period, and Kula is Kula. If you liked playing her in the past, you will certainly enjoy her in KOF 15 as well. Their stage design takes an original twist, an eerie abandoned amusement park, setting the tone for their unique dynamic. The team's theme, Liberty, isn't just one of the best within the game, it ranks among the series' finest. Ultimately, Team Cronin stands as an impressive ensemble, albeit marred by Kula's tenuous inclusion. If they had figured out a more reasonable reason for these three to form a team, then it would have probably been my #1 favorite team in the game. While the Garo team's presence in the series isn't new, as KOF 11 featured them with a slight tweak, Tizok being the third member, I'm overjoyed that KOF 15 finally ushers in Rock's inclusion. Yes, I am aware he appeared in KOF 14 as well, but his appearance there was a standalone entry, devoid of substantial story. KOF 15 rectifies this deficiency by affording Rock and his team the narrative attention he deserves. What sets this iteration apart is the opportunity to witness an interaction between Rock and his father, Gus Howard. Though brief, this exchange stands as one of the team's high points, long awaited and deeply satisfying. Of course, we mustn't overlook Rock's adept teammates, Gato and Janae. Their transition into the 3D realm is commendable, boasting impressive character model with intricate attention to detail, particularly evident in Janae's expressive features during her climax super. When they just dropped, this team was enjoyed a status as top tier characters. Though Janae initially lagged behind at launch, subsequent adjustments saw them experience a degree of nerfing, with Janae undergoing buffs that propelled her to the top tier within the trio. Nonetheless, they remain formidable choices. It's worth noting that their theme is a faithful rendition of the main theme from their original game, Garo Mark of the Wolves, beautifully remixed to resonate with modern sensibilities. The only weak point about this theme is that they have to share the same stage with the Fatal Fury team. This is a common issue with all the DLC characters, and unfortunately it doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon. Observing this team in action kindles anticipation for their upcoming game, Fatal Fury's City of the Worlds, a prospect that promises genuine character development for Rock. Something that once seemed implausible now proves us all wrong, and I couldn't be more delighted about it. When I drafted my list of the top 10 characters we yearn to see in KOF 15, Shizuru found her place, accompanied by my fervent wish to witness her inclusion within the famous Sacred Treasures team alongside Kyo and Iori. The elation I felt when this aspiration materialized in KOF 15 was nothing short of extraordinary. The announcement was almost too good to be true. Even the team's signature theme, fictitious or real, seemed to encapsulate this feeling. The Sacred Treasures team was the secret squad that emerged victorious against Orochi in '97. Curiously, they never graced any KOF installment as an official team from the onset. KOF 15 broke this pattern at last, and I'm fervently hopeful it won't be the last to do so. One might question why the Sacred Treasures team doesn't occupy a higher position on this list. The answer lies in their narrative, or rather, the lack thereof. Story-wise, their trajectory didn't receive an extensive development. Shizuru summoned Kyo and Iori into KOF's vault to investigate the weakening Orochi seal, a consequence largely triggered by Yashiro's resurrection and his comrades. Their participation was geared towards thwarting whatever scheme lay afoot. Once their mission was accomplished, they turned their attention into inspecting the seal and verifying its stability. Iori and Kyo, true to form, rekindled their seemingly endless rivalry, plunging headlong into combat. While not the most uninspired storyline, it certainly didn't make strides in enriching their characters. Nevertheless, seeing Shizuru's return was a resounding delight. Her prowess is undeniable, although I personally struggle to master her complexities. As for Kyo and Iori, well, their strength speaks for itself. Both sit at the pinnacle of their hierarchy, arguably stronger than they've been in previous iterations. While the inclusion of the Sacred Treasures team in KOF 15 fulfilled a long-standing wish, the narrative potential of the legendary trio remains untapped. If Kyo and Iori were granted character development beyond their pointless rivalry, the Sacred Treasures team could ascend to even greater heights in future installments. Unlike with their awakened version, the reintroduction of the regular Orochi team was met with an unequivocal wave of excitement. Enthusiasts, myself included, had yearned for their return with bated breath. A sentiment echoing their profound impact in earlier titles, swiftly elevating them to iconic status. The Arashi team's inclusion in KOF 15 undoubtedly ranks among the best additions, a sentiment shared unanimously. Their redesign has been a triumph, embracing a contemporary flair while preserving their familiar essence. Aesthetically, they strike a harmonious balance between the two, blending tradition with modernity. And what better setting for this team than the resplendent concert hall stage, a veritable spectacle and one of the game's most visually captivating environments. This choice resonates deeply, paying homage to their rock band origins. While their latest theme may not eclipse the brilliance of their original anthem, Bloody, a masterpiece that's preserved in the game, now remixed, it still resonates fittingly. Its bombastic rock undertones and subtly unsettling movements capture their essence. The allure extends to gameplay, with the three members delivering an exhilarating experience. Shermie in particular emerged as a borderline overpowered before her adjustments. Her potency, even after nerfs, remains formidable. My inclination would have been to position them higher on the list, were it not for two factors. Firstly, the absence of their awakened forms, available only through paid DLC, a matter we previously discussed. Secondly, their involvement in the central narrative feels somewhat superficial. True, they possess a reason for entering the KOF tournament, an endeavor to harness Verse and Otomaraga's energies for the revival of Orochi. While not the most innovative of motives, it outshines narratives like K-Dash's team, although room for more depth remains. In sum, the Arashi team's long-awaited return to the KOF vault is a dream fulfilled, making a triumphant moment for fans. One can only hope their presence endures through future installments, contributing to the series' enduring legacy. Team Rivals stands out as the most unexpected addition in the roster, at least from my perspective, with two brand new characters, Isla and Dolores, and the inclusion of Hayden as their third member. The team's composition is truly surprising. The puzzle pieces fall into place once we delve into their story and the reasons that unite them. The team's name underscores the rivalry between Isla and the central protagonist Shune. Like him, Isla is another amplified specter, but her past is marked by far greater adversity. Simply put, Isla excels as a superior version of Shune, offering a more appealing design as well. Enter Dolores, the other fresh face in the game and a warmly embraced addition. She garnered a following even before the game's launch, because of reasons. Having been resurrected post-Versus obliteration in KOF 14, Dolores boasts the most profound understanding of Versus nature and its enigmatic master Otomaraga. Hayden, the seasoned warrior, plays the pivotal role in binding this team together. His sagacity led him to enlist Dolores and Isla to combat the looming threat of Verse. In truth, he serves as the team's true leader, despite Isla's claims to the contrary. This team can be considered as the other team hero, particularly reflected in their ending, where they vanquish Otomaraga, a conclusion that could be viewed as an alternate ending in its own. Notably, their theme diverges from the rest of the game's soundtrack, with a unique theme with vocals, a bold move that, while not universally pleasing, showcases SNK's commitment to innovation. Embodying originality, central significance to the main plot, and captivating dynamics, Team Rivals earn its place as a compelling addition to the game. Presenting yet another team from previous game that has been reconfigured for the better. Team Southtown saw slight modifications in KOF 15 compared to its 14th rendition. The lineup previously featured the notorious crime lord of Southtown, Geese, along with his loyal right-hand man Billy Khan and his newly introduced butler, Hein. While Han is undeniably a cool character, he just doesn't compare to his replacement in KOF 15, the inclusion of Yamazaki. In contrast to his single-entry status in KOF 14, Yamazaki finally finds a spot in KOF within a canonical team. The Southtown gang couldn't have asked for a better revamp. Apart from Billy, who doesn't shine as much in KOF 15, both Geese and Yamazaki are titans in the game. Their strength and performance have never been this remarkable. The iconic main theme of Geese returns, complemented by a fantastic remix that also graces the team's main theme. However, a notable drawback lies in the lack of a dedicated stage for this team in KOF 15. It would have been a treat to witness a rendition of the Geese Tower as their battleground, but as it stands now, they share the PAOPAO CAFÉ stage with Team Art of Fighting. The team's ending is equally captivating, especially with the entry of Hein, revealing his true colors as a traitor, a plot that was speculated upon in KOF 14. The narrative takes a turn as he reveals that he has an alliance with the money-driven Yamazaki, who's more than willing to sell his soul for the right price. Despite the cliffhanger, the ending stands as one of the game's best, with Geese's cunning intellect stealing the spotlight. Of course I'm going to put this team this high, it's got freaking Yamazaki in it. With only one team left to discuss, I'm sure you've already guessed which team holds the top spot in my view for KOF 15. Naturally, it's the Secret Agents team, consisting of Luong, Vanessa and Blue Mary. Let's delve into why I consider this team the absolute best in the game. First and foremost is the impeccable synergy between the team members that sets them apart. Vanessa employs a boxing-based fighting style focused on punches, while Luong's taekwondo background makes her all about kicks. Then there is Blue Mary, an all-rounder fighter who employs commando sambo techniques featuring an array of grappling moves. Vanessa, though toned down post-nerfs, remains a strong contender. Luong's popularity is surging as she wreaks havoc online, and Blue Mary is my personal main, and I just love her fighting style and moves in this game more than I ever did in previous iterations. But the team's narrative is where the real intrigue lies. While Vanessa and Blue Mary have history as odd friends and past teammates, their third member, Luong, adds a twist to the formula. She's the enigmatic element, her motives ambiguous, and it's clear she's working on her own agenda. The lack of trust among the teammates creates a unique dynamic, oozing with spy movie intrigue and suspense. The team's theme, Femme Fatale, expertly captures their essence with its mysterious undertones and an aura reminiscent of classic spy films. Their stage transformed the superheroine stage into a nighttime setting, with deserted streets exuding an eerie vibe. This alteration beautifully highlights the contrast between the two teams. The superheroines lean towards playfulness, while the secret agents exude in seriousness and mystery. This is one of the rare times when using the same stage with a different time of day actually benefits the team and can't be seen as lazy or uninspired. The team's ending adds another layer of delight. Blue Mary and Vanessa unveil Luong's theft of Dolores' jewel, only for Luong to escape on a jet ski with Hein, revealing her partnership with him. The kicker? Vanessa and Blue Mary had preemptively replaced the stolen jewel with a fake. This ending ties into the Southtown team's conclusion as well. In essence, Team Secret Agents represents perfection. Even though its story isn't tied to the game's central plot, it epitomizes how side characters should be treated. And that's why Team Secret Agents is the #1 best official team in KOF 15. Now it's your turn to put your own ranking of KOF 15's teams down in the comment section. And is there a team you would have loved to see in the game? Share your answer with us in the comments. Special thanks to my patrons for their support. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and why not consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.